Welcome to this explainer. Or, to set the tone right from the start with a little cinematic weight, is Kas Prastutime. In this special presentation, I want you to picture something with me. The year is 1930. You're looking at a vast, freezing gray ocean. Standing right there on the deck of a ship is a man clutching a small bag tightly to his chest. Inside that bag, a 4-kilogram solid gold trophy. Now, nobody is waiting for him. Honestly, most people at the time think he's completely crazy. But he's smiling. His name is Jules Rimet, the president of FIFA. And he is setting off on a journey that is quite literally going to change history forever. Let's dive in.
So I have to ask you, Mir Dosto, my friends, what actually makes the entire world speak the exact same language? Because today, we aren't just talking about a sport. We are looking at how one man's tiny, supposedly crazy idea exploded into a global phenomenon that now captivates 6 billion people. It's honestly the ultimate proof of how a single belief can unite the entire planet.
Section 1. The Birth of a Dream.
Okay, let's travel way back to a freezing afternoon on November 30th, 1872, in Glasgow, Scotland. This was the first official international match, England versus Scotland. There were only about 4,000 fans, and it ended in a massive 0-0 draw. By today's standards, completely forgettable. But the seed was planted. Fast forward decades later to 1928, and Jules Rimet formally proposes a dedicated World Cup. By 1930, Uruguay actually hosted the very first tournament. Keep in mind, this was during the Great Depression. Travel was brutal. A lot of European teams just flat out refused to go. But get this, King Carol II of Romania actually picked his nation's squad with his own hands. I mean, could you imagine a modern monarch doing something like that today? Absolutely wild. So Uruguay actually won that first cup, proving right out of the gate that the underdog can take over the world. But then we hit 1950, 200,000. That was the capacity of the massive Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. Host nation Brazil was the heavy favorite. They literally only needed a draw against Uruguay to win the whole thing. But Uruguay scored, and then they scored again. They won 2-1. And across a crowd of 200,000 people, this incredibly heavy, shocking silence fell over the stadium. It was a silence so deep it still echoes in football history today. Years later, the Uruguayan player who scored that winning goal smiled and dropped this legendary truth. He said, "Only 3 people have ever silenced the Maracanã: Frank Sinatra, the Pope, and me." I mean, wow. It just perfectly captures the sheer impossibility of what became known as the Great Maracanazo.
Section 2. Shocks and Football Legends.
Now this is where the story gets deeply emotional. Think about this contrast. A grapefruit stuffed into a sock. That was the quote-unquote ball a fiercely impoverished boy used to learn the game before the 1958 World Cup. And then, that exact same boy, at just 17 years old, lifting the actual World Cup. His name was Edson Arantes de Nascimento, but we all know him as Pelé. After scoring twice in the final, becoming the youngest World Cup winner in history, he just collapsed onto the pitch in absolute tears.
But you know, Brazil's golden era wasn't only about Pelé. Because when Pelé got injured early on in the 1962 World Cup, another incredible star stepped up, Garrincha. His name means little bird. Now, he was born with deformed legs that curved inward and outward. Doctors literally told him he'd never run properly. Yet it was Garrincha who took the reins and single-handedly carried Brazil to victory. It was the pure joy of Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game, completely overcoming intense physical adversity.
Section 3. Surviving the Darkest Times.
Of course, the world isn't just football. There were no World Cups in 1942 or 1946. Stadiums were being converted into military bases as the dark shadows of World War II swallowed the globe. So how on earth did the Golden Trophy survive? Well, it was thanks to the quiet heroism of FIFA Vice President Ottorino Barassi. When occupying forces took over Rome, Barassi wrapped the trophy in an old piece of cloth, hid it in a shoebox, and kept it under his bed for 3 whole years. He checked that box every single night. It was just one man's quiet, stubborn belief that this trophy would matter to the world again someday.
And the trophy's bizarre luck didn't even end there. After surviving a literal world war in a Roman shoebox, the grand prize was actually stolen in London right before the 1966 tournament. A complete nationwide panic breaks out. 4 days later, where do they find it? Under a bush. And it was found by a dog named Pickles. He became an instant national hero, obviously. The greatest prize in global sports, saved by a bed frame and a bush.
You really can't make this stuff up.
Section 4. The world joins the game.
Now, this massive expansion into a true global phenomenon, it absolutely did not happen overnight. In 1966, African nations actually boycotted the tournament to demand representation. Their message was fierce. We exist and we will not be ignored. And you know what? It worked. By 1970, Africa had guaranteed spots. In 1994, the game crossed the ocean to the USA. In 2002, South Korea and Japan finally brought the cup to Asia, and in 2010, the tournament reached African soil in South Africa. Cue the unmistakable roar of the vuvuzela, announcing to everyone that this game truly belonged to the whole Earth.
And the most beautiful consequence of all this global expansion, we saw it clear as day in 2022. Morocco shocked the entire world, taking down giants like Belgium, Spain, and Portugal to become the very first African nation to reach the semifinals. But the image that really captured our hearts wasn't a goal. It was their star player, Achraf Hakimi. He was raised in Madrid, and his mother cleaned houses to give him a better life. Right after beating Spain, Hakimi ran straight into the stands and embraced her. Just tears, pure joy, and profound pride. That moment right there, that is the very soul of the World Cup.
Section 5. The future of the Cup.
Looking ahead, for the first time in history, the 2026 World Cup will be shared across 3 nations, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Starting on June 11th, 16 different cities are going to open their doors to the world. It's a scale of unimaginable magnitude. I mean, it's so far beyond anything Jules Rimet could have ever pictured while standing on that freezing ship. And the expansion on the pitch is just as staggering. We're going from a mere 13 teams back in that inaugural 1930 Cup to 48 nations in 2026. 48 nations. Some of them are going to arrive in North America as heavy favorites, while others will show up armed with absolutely nothing but a wild dream. Every single corner of the globe is getting ready to write the next legendary chapter.
6 billion. That's not just some random statistic on a screen. That is 3/4 of all human beings alive on Earth right now sharing the exact same 90 minutes of pure emotion. People of completely different languages, backgrounds, and cultures will hear the referee's whistle blow and understand exactly what it means. Jules Rimet's supposedly crazy belief that football could literally be a universal language is now a breathtaking reality.
Because at the end of the day, every massive global phenomenon starts as a small, seemingly crazy idea. Whether it's a 17-year-old practicing with a grapefruit or a man hiding a golden trophy under his bed in the middle of a world war. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question. Ab apne andar kaun sa khamosh vishwas lekar chal rahe hain? What quiet belief are you carrying inside? What small idea do you have right now that no one else can see just yet? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, tell me, what shocked you more? The World Cup hidden in a shoebox or Hakimi's incredible embrace with his mother? Until next time, keep believing in your crazy ideas.